Use the SERP as your best and most up-to-date SEO tool with Omi Sido from Canon Europe. Brought to you by Majestic, I'm David Bain and this is SEO in 2022. Omi, what is your number one SEO tip for 2022?
Well, use the SERPs as your best and most up-to-date SEO tool.
Right, okay, so what does that mean in practice? How do you actually use the SERPs as an SEO tool?
Okay, let me start first with the obvious. We all want to rank well in the SERPs. And very often we mix rankings and SERP visibility. But let's be honest, is ranking number one actually means that your website is visible to the people? Is it actually in position number one in the SERPs? Well, in most cases, the answer will be, as you know, David, no. A lot of SERPs nowadays have adverts with the sliders. Okay, let me come up with an example. Imagine if you're searching for running shoes. We had the London Marathon this weekend, right? Last weekend. So imagine if you're searching for running shoes. First, you're going to have probably the adverts with the slider. Then you're going to have 3 or 4 of the traditional PPC adverts. Then you may have the Google map with the local stores. And then you're going to probably have 3 or 4 of the local stores with the opening times and the location. So if your tools are telling you that you rank number one for running shoes, in reality, in the SERPs, you're probably in position number 9 or 10. And as you know, probably, David, things get worse when we,
use mobile devices. Just in case you're listening to the podcast, yes. Omi's holding up his mobile phone there. So what about...
Okay.
what about if you are competing in these ultra competitive niches and you are in reality ranking 8, 9, 10 because there's so many paid results and other boxes on top of you there as well? Are you saying that it's actually not worthwhile trying to rank number one in organic search results, conventional organic search results for these keyword phrases?
No, what I'm trying to tell you is that no, ranking number one is still worth it, but without knowing the SERPs, you're actually targeting the wrong SERPs. Simply because when people are, I'm going to go back to the running shoes. When people are looking for the running shoes, and if you want to compete for this keyword, they are very, very unlikely to scroll all the way to position number 8 and 9. They will definitely hit something before that. It will either be the slider, it will either be the adverts or the local shops. So instead of just thinking about position number one as, okay, this is the ultimate thing that I have to do, the ultimate position I'm targeting in the SERPs. Instead, it's a lot more, it's worth it looking at the SERPs and deciding, do I only want to rank number one, or I also want to target the sliders, the rich snippets, or the local shops?
So how does this work scale? Is it necessary to actually manually check the SERPs all the time? Is there some good software out there that you can recommend to actually tell you what keyword phrases you need to be targeting different elements in the SERP?
Well, the tools can help you. The tools can definitely help you. But at the end of the day, you still need to go and manually check the SERPs. There is no way around it, right? So, because it's not just even keywords, because we started talking about keywords, there are a lot more elements that can be seen only when you look at the SERPs. Let me give you another example. Imagine you're on page 2, right? And you want to go to, you want to rank well on page 1. Normally, you're just going to go check the backlinks of the pages ranking well on page 1. And you may assume that if you see that they've got like on average 20 links, you may assume that acquiring 50 links will automatically, shoot your page shoot your web page to number one in the SERPs. But this is not always true. If you just look at the number of links, this is misleading. Agencies will promise you that, backlink agencies, but this is misleading because if you don't check the SERPs manually with your eye, you may miss that actually the companies that are ranking well in your SERP, in your niche, actually have a good authority. We see that a lot in the health niche. Those companies with a good authority actually don't need a lot of links in the health niche. They only need a few links to rank well. So if you go and acquire 50 links and they are ranking well with 10, on average, 10 to 20 links, then Google will see you and, let's imagine the bot will see you and think there is something wrong here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm saying that, of course, unfortunately, you can't check all the links, all the SERPs manually. Of course, this is crazy, but you can definitely do that for your top 10 keywords, for your top 10 keywords that you want to rank for.
Okay, that's great advice there. So if you
If
work
I
in a
give you
niche
another
and
example, you will understand actually very well. Let me just give you another example.
Sure.
I know 15 minutes are not enough, of course. Imagine, I get this question a lot: short or long text on the page?
Mm-hmm.
Neither of the answers will be short or long, will be correct if you don't look at the SERPs. The only way for you to know whether your page will rank well is to go to the SERPs, and if the first 5 pages have short, text on the page, it's very, very unlikely you're gonna rank with a long format, right? And vice versa. It's very, very unlikely that if the first 5 pages have well-written long articles, it's almost impossible for you to outrank them with short and direct answers, right?
Sure.
So you may say, well, it is a manual process. There is no other way around it.
So, in relation to the number of backlinks, I think that's a great point. I just want to emphasize that to the listener as well, because if you find your competitors are ranking well and they've got 10 backlinks pointing to a page, and you've got more than that, and you've got decent quality links pointing to your site, but you're not ranking well, it's not backlinks that the problem is. It's content on your site. It's the performance on your site. It's the technical health of your site. There could be many other reasons for you not ranking.
Many other reasons. Of course. But let's be honest, and the local SEOs, they know that. I've experienced the same problem before. Imagine if I was working for a travel company a few years ago, and we were trying to rank some pages in Brazil, Mexico, countries like that. So imagine if I just go and acquire national links for a page in Brazil, right? Links that are coming from all over the place, Then my company may come back to me and say, "But why we're not ranking well?" And I'm gonna tell you, the reason is because I didn't go to the SERPs, I didn't check the companies that are linking back to my competitors. In my example, there were local companies linking to local pages of our competitors, and this was the only reason they were outranking us. And there was no way I can see this in the tools. You have to manually go and check it. There's
Something else I want to touch upon, just in relation to checking the SERP, is many search results are hyper personalized nowadays. So, is it enough just to check the SERP on incognito in your browser, or is there something else you need to do just to try to ensure that the SERP represents the majority of your audience?
Well, I will go both ways. Obviously, if I'm in London and I'm checking and I want to know how a page will appear in London, why not check it logged in? I am already in London. I'm already in Ealing. If I want to rank a web page in Ealing, why not check it, on my mobile and see whether, and basically try to assume what other people are seeing. But of course, incognito is always the best because then it's neutral, so to speak.
Great. Okay, so how does an SEO actually integrate this approach into strategy? Is it necessary to do maybe a big analysis of your current SERP results, maybe once a quarter, once every 6 months or so, or is this something that needs to be done on an ongoing basis?
Yes, I would definitely recommend doing that for your, let's say, top 10, 20 keywords every 6 months. Because let's be honest, the SERPs can also give you a lot of inspiration, right? Imagine if you are trying to write an article. What's the best way to do? What's the best way? Okay, you've got your topic. Let's make your topic, going back to running, how to run the London Marathon. You go to the SERPs. Okay, you can use the tools. You can check which keywords are ranking well, stuff like that. But your topic is how to run the London Marathon. You just go to the SERPs, right? And you check. People also ask questions and answer them all in your article. Even better, use the questions as your H2s in your article. And you're going to see that when you start checking these questions, you can get so much information about what people want to know about your topic, your niche, that they simply know tool that can give you all this information in your niche, right? Because this is your SERP. So yes, you're right. Analyzing the SERPs now and then, I would recommend every 6 months is the best thing to do because you're going to know exactly what the people in your niche are talking about, not what the tools are telling you. Because tools are just giving you the keywords, right? Those keywords may not be good for you, right? You may not have revenue from these keywords because tools are just giving you the search volume per month, right? A lot of tools they don't even give you is it an informational query, is it a transactional query, right? And I've seen companies expecting an article to rank in a SERP that is actually transactional, publishing an informational article, and they'll invest a lot of money in it. They'll write 3,000 words, and it wouldn't rank. And then they're going to come to me and they'll say, why is not ranking? We've covered all the keywords from the tools. We've covered everything. Why? Just look at the SERPs. This SERP is not informational. This SERP is transactional. And to understand this one, probably we don't have enough time for that, but probably you have to understand Google's point of view, right? Because we are not the customers. We are not Google customers. We are just the SEOs. We're just trying to push our pages up the SERPs. The people who click on the pages, those are Google's customers, and Google cares for them, not for us. Google doesn't care about if a search keywords got a massive search volume and you include it in your article, in your copy. Whatever the page is, it could be e-com, right? Google only cares that this SERP is transactional. Give me a transactional page to include in this SERP. This SERP is informational. Give me an informational page. And no tool can give you this information, unfortunately.
Do you think a tool will give SEOs that information in the near future, or is there too much information there? Is it?
I hope so. I really hope so. But at the end of the day, we are all guilty of talking about rankings like this is the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal is to bring revenue, right? The ultimate goal is not just to rank well. Just because you're in position 1 and there are another 10 adverts on top of you, the slider, the normal advert, and this page doesn't bring any revenue because there are too many people on top of you. I mean, it's just pointless being number 1, right? I mean, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not, but it is pointless when it comes to revenue, right? Because people simply not hit this page. And too many SEOs, I've done the same thing, and probably we all do it every single day. We report simply on rankings, right? Because if I manage to rank all your pages in position number 1, then I'm like the winner. I'm like, okay, I've won. but then looking at the revenue, it may not be good, right?
I love
I'm
your
not even going to
point.
talk about the people who lost they still have their rankings for time, for weather, for airplanes, flights and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
well,
they're
that's not a
happy.
future-proof business, is it really? But
No.
I
But
love your point
going
on the
back to
fact
my
that you're
point,
not catering. You're not catering for Google. You're catering for the people who are your target market on the SERP, and their
yes,
actions determine how the algorithms perceive your site to be relevant or irrelevant for those queries.
exactly. So, but saying that, catering for your visitors, you have to know them, but you also have to look from Google points of view, how Google sees your potential customers, right? Because an informational query will nowadays doesn't actually bring a transactional SERP. I'll call it a transactional. So I just invented something.
Oh, Omi, you've shared a lot of great advice. An SEO should certainly be, I'm sure, looking more at the SERP. But if they're struggling for time, SEOs have to juggle so many balls at the moment. What's one thing that they can stop doing just now so they can spend more time looking at the SERP?
I wouldn't say, I would never advise people to stop doing something unless it's very wrong. But I will simply ask all SEOs to start looking at the big picture. Me asking you to look at the SERPs, of course, it takes more time. I'm actually asking you to look at the big picture, to look at the Google points of view, the end goal of SEO, which is actually to bring value to the business rather than just reporting of rankings.
Absolutely superb thoughts. Omi is Senior Technical SEO at Canon Europe. Omi, thanks so much for being part of SEO in 2022.
Thank you for having me, David.
Check out the rest of the content from SEO in 2022 over at SEOin2022.com.